Let's talk about compound interest. Now, there's a lot of equations out there that people will give you. And I'm going to tell you right now, the only equation you need is this one. P equals A times 1 plus R over N to the NT. So if you're like me and don't like memorizing a lot of things, just memorize that one. And we'll talk about that one a little bit. What it means is A is the principal. And some people would say A equals P times whatever. It doesn't really make any difference. They're just variables. This P is the future value. That's how much we'll have at a certain amount of time. R is the rate, the interest rate. N is how many times it's compounded. And then T is obviously time. So for example, if I wanted to know how much, I don't know, like $1,000 will be worth in 5 years, let's say then we'd have 1,000 as the principal, that's what we start with, times 1 plus R, let's say it's at 10%. So 10% is 0.1 over N, the number of times it's compounded per year. So maybe that's quarterly, that would be 4. Or maybe it'd be monthly, in which case that would be 12. Or maybe it'd be biannually, that'd be 2. Let's say biannually, just for fun. Raised to the n, that's still the same n, so that's still just 2. And how long? Let's say we're talking 10 years. 10% at 10 years compounded biannually. We just grab our calculator. Let me just grab that real quick. So I have 1 plus 0.1 over 2 is 1.05. I'll raise that to the 20th power, get 2.6 times 1,000, and that end up at 2653.30. That is how you use the compound interest equation. Now wait, I said you only need this one equation. What about annual? Right? They give you a different equation for annual interest. Annual interest, though, that just means n equals 1. If you have this equation memorized for n equals 1, that just becomes a times 1 plus r to the t, which is exactly the equation they want you to memorize. I don't like that. I'd rather just memorize the first one. And then here's another one that's kind of cool. What about continuous interest? N is infinity. So they tell you a e to the rt. How is that the same thing? Well, that involves calculus, and we could prove it, and it's actually kind of cool. But if you don't want to memorize that equation, just choose a really, really big n, like say n equals 1,000,000 or something. If you plug in n equals 1,000,000 into this equation, you're going to get pretty much the exact same answer as e to the rt. So you actually only need to know this one equation for all compound interest problems.